Dorothy Hart, 72 years old, was reaching for a can of cranberry sauce on the top shelf of Miller's grocery store when the world tilted sideways. Her right arm went numb. Her face drooped on one side. Words came out slurred when she tried to ask for help. She collapsed into the shopping cart, knocking it over, cans clattering across the floor. Other shoppers backed away, unsure, frightened. But the man behind her, wearing a green grocery store vest with James on a name tag, there to bag groceries and collect carts, moved immediately. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" He knelt beside Dorothy, his hands steady, his voice calm. "Can you tell me your name?" Dorothy tried to speak. Nothing came out right. The man, James Morrison, looked at his watch, noting the exact time, 2:47 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Then he called out to the store manager with absolute authority. "Call 911. Tell them we need a stroke unit ambulance. Not just any ambulance, specifically stroke protocol. Tell them patient is showing right-sided weakness, facial droop, and aphasia. Time of symptom onset is 2:47 p.m. exactly. This is critical." The manager froze, startled by the command from a bag boy. "Now," James ordered. "Every second counts." As the manager called 911, James carefully positioned Dorothy on her side, supporting her head, checking her airway, monitoring her breathing. "You're gonna be okay," he said gently. "I've got you. Help is coming. Just stay with me." What Dorothy didn't know, what no one in that grocery store knew, was that the man saving her life was Dr. James Morrison, one of the most respected neurosurgeons in the region. Until 5 years ago, when he'd walked away from medicine entirely, to be a father to a daughter who needed him more than any hospital ever could. Before we continue, if you enjoy stories that move and transform us, tales of justice, legacy, resilience, and love, consider subscribing to Becca's Stories. We showcase the beautiful perspectives that emerge from life's changes, offering narratives of profound moral strength and unwavering character. Now, back to our story. 30 minutes earlier, Hart Industries corporate headquarters. Evelyn Hart sat in her corner office, reviewing Q4 projections for the pharmaceutical company she'd built from a small startup into a $400 million enterprise. 44 years old, CEO. Forbes Rising Stars, self-made success story. No husband, divorced 3 years ago when he couldn't handle her obsession with work. No children. She'd chosen career over family. Just her mother, Dorothy, who lived alone in the house where Evelyn grew up. Evelyn's assistant knocked. "Ms. Hart, your mother called. Asked if you're coming for Christmas Eve dinner tonight. Tell her I'll try. This merger review is taking longer than expected." "You said that last Christmas." "I know, but this year is different. The Hendricks acquisition will still be there after Christmas. Your mother won't be here forever." Evelyn looked up sharply. "That's inappropriate. I'm sorry, but someone has to say it." After her assistant left, Evelyn stared at her phone. She should call her mother. She would. Right after this meeting. And the next one. And maybe around 8 p.m. if things wrapped up. Dorothy would understand. She always did. Miller's grocery store. Same time. Dr. James Morrison, though no one at the store knew his title, scanned items at Register 3, helping bag groceries with the mechanical efficiency of someone who'd done this job for years. 52 years old, graying hair, kind eyes, wearing a green grocery vest that covered what used to be designer suits. In the corner of the store, at a small table the manager had set up near the employee break room, sat 10-year-old Sophia Morrison. Headphones on, weighted lap pad across her legs, fidget toys in her hands, workbook open in front of her. Sophia had severe autism, nonverbal, needed constant routine, specific accommodations, someone who understood her triggers and knew how to prevent meltdowns. That someone was her father. Every day, James worked the 1 to 7 p.m. shift at Miller's Grocery,
the only store in town that let him bring Sophia, set up a quiet corner for her, and take breaks when she needed him. The pay was $14 an hour. James used to make $450,000 a year as a neurosurgeon. But neurosurgeons worked 80-hour weeks, took emergency calls at 3 a.m., couldn't leave mid-surgery when their daughter's school called about a meltdown. 5 years ago, his wife Sarah had left. "I can't do this anymore. The therapy appointments, the meltdowns, the judgment from other parents, I'm done." She'd walked out on both of them. James had tried to keep his surgical practice, hired the best nannies, arranged backup care, but Sophia needed consistency, needed her father, needed someone who understood that when she lined up her toys in precise rows, it wasn't weird. It was how she made sense of the world. After Sophia had 3 major meltdowns in 2 weeks, each one triggered by James being unreachable during surgeries, he'd made a decision. He resigned from the hospital, gave up his practice, let his malpractice insurance lapse, kept his medical license active just in case, but stopped being Dr. Morrison. Became just James, Sophia's dad, grocery store employee. The hospital had been shocked. Colleagues had called it career suicide. Sarah had called it giving up. But James called it being a father.
When Dorothy collapsed at 2:47 p.m., James' medical training kicked in automatically. He assessed her in seconds: right-sided weakness, facial droop, slurred speech, classic stroke presentation, likely left hemisphere ischemic event. Time was everything. Brain cells were dying every second. "Sophia, baby, I need you to stay at your table," James called to his daughter, who'd looked up at the commotion. "Headphones on, I'll be right back." Sophia, trusting her father completely, put her headphones on and returned to her workbook. James turned his full attention to Dorothy. "Can you smile for me?" he asked gently. Dorothy tried. Only the left side of her mouth moved. "Can you raise both arms?" Her left arm went up. Her right arm stayed limp. "Can you tell me your name?" Dor... The words wouldn't form. James checked his watch again. 2:48 p.m., 1 minute since symptom onset. "You're having a stroke," he told Dorothy clearly, "but you're going to be okay. We caught it early. The most important thing is getting you to a hospital with a stroke unit in the next hour. That's your golden hour. We're not going to waste it." When paramedics arrived 4 minutes later, James gave them a precise medical briefing that made them do a double take. Patient is Dorothy Hart, approximately 72 years old. Symptom onset at 2:47 p.m., marked exact time. Presenting with right hemiparesis, right facial droop, and expressive aphasia. NIHS score approximately 8 to 10. She's a candidate for TPA if you get her to Mercy within the window. I've positioned her on her left side to maintain airway. Blood pressure appears stable but needs immediate assessment. She's been alert and responsive throughout. No seizure activity, no vomiting. The lead paramedic stared at James. "Are you a doctor?" "I used to be. Neurosurgeon. I know strokes. Get her to Mercy fast. Dr. Patricia Chen is the best stroke neurologist there. Tell them Dr. Morrison says this patient is TPA eligible if she's there within 50 minutes of symptom onset." As they loaded Dorothy into the ambulance, one paramedic said, "If you're a neurosurgeon, what are you doing bagging groceries?" James looked at Sophia, still sitting calmly at her table with her headphones on, trusting that her father would come back. "Being a dad," he said simply. 3 hours later, Evelyn Hart rushed into Mercy Hospital's emergency department. She'd gotten the call at 3:15 p.m. "Miss Hart, your mother has had a stroke. She's at Mercy Hospital. She's stable, but you should come immediately." Evelyn had dropped everything. For the first time in 3 years, she'd left work in the middle of the day. Dr. Patricia Chen met her in the waiting room. "Miss Hart, your mother is going to be okay. We administered TPA, clot-busting medication, within 40 minutes of symptom onset." She's responding well. She'll need rehabilitation, but we expect significant recovery." Thank God. Evelyn felt tears she hadn't cried in years. What happened? She had an ischemic stroke at a grocery store. But here's the remarkable part. Someone at the scene recognized it immediately, documented exact time of onset, positioned her correctly, and gave our paramedics a perfect medical handoff. Because of that person, we were able to treat her in the golden hour. That's the difference between full recovery and permanent disability. Who was it? I need to thank them. According to the paramedics, it was a grocery store employee. They said he used to be a neurosurgeon. Name was Morrison. James Morrison. Evelyn pulled out her phone and searched the name. What she found shocked her. Dr. James Morrison, former chief of neurosurgery at Presbyterian Hospital, published researcher, pioneering surgical techniques, one of the top neurosurgeons in the region. Last active, 5 years ago. Current employment? Miller's Grocery. Evelyn couldn't understand it. Why would a renowned surgeon be working at a grocery store? The next day, Christmas, Evelyn went to Miller's. The store was closed, but she convinced the manager to give her James's phone number. "I need to thank the man who saved my mother's life." When James answered, Evelyn explained who she was. "I don't need thanks. I'm just glad your mother is okay. Please, let me buy you coffee or dinner, something. You saved her life." James hesitated. "I have my daughter with me. She doesn't do well in restaurants, too much sensory input." "Then I'll come to you, please." That afternoon, Evelyn met James at a quiet park. Sophia was there, sitting on a bench with her headphones, lining up small stones in precise patterns. "Thank you for meeting me. I've been researching you. You were one of the best neurosurgeons in the region. Why are you working at a grocery store?" James watched his daughter carefully arrange her stones. "Because Sophia needs me more than the hospital ever did." "But you gave up everything?" "I gave up a career. I gained a daughter." James sat down on the bench, keeping a careful eye on Sophia. "When Sophia was diagnosed with severe autism at 4 years old, my life changed completely. She's nonverbal. She has sensory sensitivities. She needs routine, predictability, someone who understands her." "But couldn't you hire help?" "I tried. Nannies, therapists, special schools. But none of them were her father. None of them knew that she needs exactly 7 minutes of warning before transitions, that fluorescent lights cause meltdowns, that she communicates through careful arrangement of objects when she can't use words." James's voice was gentle but firm. "The hospital where I worked at, they expected me to be available 24/7. Emergency surgeries at 2 a.m., 12-hour days, no flexibility when Sophia's school called about a crisis. I was choosing between saving strangers' lives and destroying my daughter's life." "So you quit?" "I chose. There's a difference. Society sees it as failure. Colleagues thought I was throwing away my career. My ex-wife said I was giving up. But I call it being present for the person who needs me most." Evelyn watched Sophia line up her stones with absolute precision and focus. "Does it bother you, going from neurosurgeon to grocery store worker?" "At first, yes. I mourned the career, the respect, the feeling of doing something important. I paused, but then I realized I'm doing something more important. I'm raising a beautiful, brilliant daughter who sees the world differently than everyone else. I'm teaching her that she matters, that her needs are valid, that someone will always be there for her. But your skills are still there. Your mother is alive because of them. I haven't forgotten how to be a doctor. I just can't practice anymore, not the way hospitals demand." James looked directly at Evelyn. "Why are you really here? You could have sent a thank you card." Evelyn was quiet. Then, "My mother asked me something yesterday. She said, that man sacrificed his entire career for his daughter. Would you sacrifice your company for me? And would you? I don't know. And that terrifies me."
A week later, Evelyn visited her mother in the rehabilitation facility. Dorothy's speech had returned almost completely. Her right arm was weak, but improving with therapy. "You look tired," Dorothy said, studying her daughter. "I've been working on something. A new program for the company." "Let me guess. More mergers?" "No. Actually, I've been designing a workplace flexibility program for employees with children who have special needs, or elderly parents, or disabilities themselves." Evelyn sat down. "I've been thinking about what you said, about sacrifice, and about Dr. Morrison, the man who saved me. He gave up a $450,000 salary and a prestigious career to work at a grocery store making $14 an hour, all so he could be there for his daughter. And you're realizing that's more impressive than any corporate success." "I'm realizing I've been measuring success all wrong." Evelyn's voice cracked. "I built a company worth $400 million, but I missed your birthday last year because of a board meeting. I didn't come home for Christmas because of a merger. I'm rich and successful, and I almost lost you because I wasn't there. But you're here now. Because Dr. Morrison was there. A man society sees as a failure saved your life with skills he's not allowed to use anymore because the medical system has no flexibility for fathers of special needs children." Dorothy reached for her daughter's hand. "So, what are you going to do about it?" "Change it. At least at my company. Maybe create a model other companies can follow." "How?" "By hiring Dr. Morrison. And others like him." 2 weeks later, Evelyn sat in her office with James Morrison. "I want to offer you a position. Medical Director of Employee Health and Wellness. Salary, $185,000 a year. Fully remote, flexible hours. You'd develop our new workplace accommodation program, consult on employee health benefits, and help us create the most family-friendly workplace in the industry." James stared at her. "Why?" "Because you're exactly the kind of person I need. Someone who understands that life doesn't fit into a 9-to-5 schedule. Someone who's had to choose between career and family and chose family. Someone with expertise that shouldn't be wasted just because the traditional system can't accommodate reality. I can't work regular hours. Sophia needs me. I know. That's the whole point. You work when it works for Sophia. From home, from the park, from wherever she's comfortable. You take meetings via video when possible. You write policies and procedures that help other parents in your situation. And if I need to take Sophia to therapy in the middle of a workday, then you take her to therapy. We'll work around it." James was quiet for a long moment. Then, "Can I bring Sophia to the office sometimes, when she's having a good day? She likes being around her dad while he works. We'll set up a sensory-friendly room. Quiet, adjustable lighting, comfortable furniture. She can be there whenever she wants." "Why are you doing this?" "Because you saved my mother's life. Because you showed me what real strength looks like. And because if someone as qualified as you has to choose between career and family, the system is broken, and I want to fix it."
6 months later, Hart Industries had become a model for workplace flexibility. Dr. James Morrison's employee wellness program included flexible hours for parents of special needs children, remote work options for caregivers, on-site sensory-friendly spaces, paid family medical leave, subsidized therapy and care services, and job sharing for high-skill professionals who needed part-time work. The program was revolutionary. And it was working. James himself had returned to medicine in a limited capacity. He consulted on stroke protocols for Mercy Hospital remotely, trained paramedics on emergency recognition, and developed educational programs. Not full-time surgery, but medicine nonetheless. He was using his skills without sacrificing his daughter. One Tuesday afternoon, Evelyn found James in his office, which was really a comfortable room with Sophia's corner set up with all her preferred accommodations. Sophia was there, wearing headphones, carefully arranging colored blocks in patterns, while her father worked on his laptop nearby. "How's the new hire working out, Dr. Patel?" "She's perfect." Another retired physician. Left her practice when her father developed Alzheimer's and she became his primary caregiver. Now she's consulting for us part-time while still caring for him. "And the program overall?" "We've had 30 applications this month from high-skilled professionals who left their fields because traditional work structures don't accommodate real life. Engineers, lawyers, researchers, all brilliant people whose expertise was being wasted." Evelyn smiled. "My board thought I was crazy, said we'd lose competitive edge by accommodating special cases. But our productivity is up 23%. Employee retention is the highest in company history, and we're attracting top talent from competitors who can't offer this kind of flexibility. Turns out treating people like humans is good for business." "Who knew?" Evelyn laughed, then added seriously, "Thank you for showing me that success isn't about choosing between profit and humanity. It's about redefining what success means." "How's your mother?" "Fully recovered. Living with me now, actually. I'm working from home 2 days a week to be with her." "And how does that feel?" "Terrifying and wonderful. I'm learning to cook. Can you believe that? I'm 44 years old and just learning that you can't microwave everything." James grinned. "Progress." Sophia looked up from her blocks, made eye contact with her father for a brief moment, something she rarely did with others, and smiled. James smiled back, his whole face softening. "That," Evelyn said quietly, "is what success actually looks like." Christmas Eve, 1 year after Dorothy's stroke. Hart Industries was closed for the holiday, but Evelyn had organized a small gathering in the sensory-friendly room James had designed. Just a few people, Evelyn and Dorothy, James and Sophia, Dr. Patel and her father, 3 other employees who'd been hired through the new flexibility program. Not a corporate party, a family gathering of people who'd found a workplace that understood life doesn't fit in neat boxes. Sophia sat at her table, carefully arranging Christmas cookies in precise patterns, her way of participating in the celebration. Dorothy, fully recovered now, sat with Dr. Patel's father, both elderly people grateful for second chances. "I've been thinking about that day," Dorothy said to James. "When I collapsed, you knew exactly what to do." "Medical training doesn't disappear," James said. "It's always there." "But you gave up practicing to be with your daughter?" "I didn't give up. I chose differently." Dorothy smiled. "When I was lying on that grocery store floor, unable to speak, terrified, you were calm, professional. You saved my life, and you did it while being a grocery store worker society probably looks down on." "That's what I've learned," James said quietly. "The job title doesn't matter. The skills don't disappear. I'm still a doctor, I just practice differently now. I'm at Sophia's school when she needs me, I'm available when she has meltdowns, but when someone needs medical help, I'm still capable." Evelyn joined them. "I've been talking to other CEOs about replicating our program. 3 companies want to implement similar flexibility policies." "Really?" "There's a huge population of talented professionals who left their fields because of caregiving responsibilities. We're creating ways for them to return without sacrificing their families. It's a win-win." James watched Sophia carefully arrange her cookies. "I used to think leaving medicine was failure. Everyone treated it like I'd given up. But now I realize I didn't fail. The system failed.
And instead of accepting that, I created a different way to live. And now we're changing the system, Evelyn added, so other people don't have to choose. Dorothy raised her glass of sparkling cider. To the man who saved my life by being exactly where he needed to be. Not in the hospital, not in an operating room, but in a grocery store. Being a father. They all raised their glasses. And to the CEO who learned that real success means creating a world where people don't have to sacrifice family for career, James added, looking at Evelyn. To second chances, for patients and professionals. To new definitions of success, Evelyn finished. Later, as people were leaving, James pulled Evelyn aside. Thank you for seeing me, for understanding, for creating something that changes lives. Thank you for saving my mother and for teaching me what matters. What's next for Hard Industries? Evelyn smiled. I'm expanding the program nationally, partnering with universities to research workplace flexibility, maybe writing a book about how companies can accommodate real life while maintaining excellence. Ambitious. I'm still competitive, just competing for different things now. Evelyn looked at Sophia, laughing with the other guests. My mother is alive because you were in that grocery store at that exact moment. If you'd still been a surgeon, you wouldn't have been there. Sometimes the path that looks like failure is actually exactly where you need to be. I believe that now. Took me a while. Me too. They stood together, watching their small gathering of people who'd all learned the same lesson. That career success means nothing if you're not present for the people who need you. And that sometimes the grocery store worker knows more about living well than any CEO ever will.
A renowned neurosurgeon gave up a $450,000 salary and a prestigious career to bag groceries for $14 an hour. Society called it failure. His daughter called it love. And when an elderly woman collapsed in his grocery store on Christmas Eve, Dr. James Morrison proved that medical expertise doesn't disappear just because you changed jobs. He saved Dorothy Hart's life with skills he'd kept sharp despite working a job people looked down on. And in doing so, he taught Dorothy's daughter, a CEO, the most important lesson of all. Success isn't about how much money you make or how impressive your title is. It's about being present for the people who need you most. James Morrison chose his daughter over his career. And yes, he lost income, lost prestige, lost the respect of colleagues who couldn't understand. But he gained something more valuable, the ability to be there when Sophia had a meltdown at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, the chance to watch her carefully arrange stones and understand she was creating order in a chaotic world. The privilege of being the one person she trusted completely. That's not failure. That's heroism. This holiday season, maybe you're facing an impossible choice. Career or family. Success or presence. Money or meaning. Remember James Morrison. Remember that the skills and expertise you have don't disappear just because you choose differently. That being present for your child with autism, your parent with Alzheimer's, your spouse with cancer, that's not giving up. That's choosing what actually matters. And sometimes, the person society calls a failure is saving lives at a grocery store, while the people society calls successful are missing everything that counts. Don't let anyone tell you that choosing family over career is failure. It's the bravest choice you'll ever make.
Thank you for watching this story. If it moved you, leave a heart in the comments and share what you thought. Let us know what themes or stories you'd like to hear next. We love creating narratives that resonate with you. Subscribe to Becca's Stories for more tales of justice, legacy, resilience, and love. We showcase the beautiful perspectives that emerge from life's changes, offering narratives of profound moral strength and unwavering character. Merry Christmas, and remember, the job title doesn't define the person. The choice to be present does. See you in the next story.